I am excited about Emanate. So let's start off with Sean. Sean, can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into crypto space and how you came into the EOS space in particular?
Yeah, so I mean, for me, coming to this point of launching Emanate, we've been working on it for really close to 18 months now, and it's for me, it kind of feels like a life's work coming together, because I've always been passionately into music, as a music lover and as an experimental kind of musician myself. My career's been in marketing, digital marketing, and managing technology teams. And some of the ideas behind Emanate have been around for a long time, and I've been sharing them with Jimmy for a long time, because we've been mates for getting close to a decade. And everything just kind of came together in late 2017 when we started looking into blockchain and smart contracts and finding out what was happening behind the scenes with Bitcoin and Ethereum, and the ideas that we'd had around Emanate before it necessarily had a name or anything started to seem more achievable with this new technology. So we started writing it up and bringing people together, and before we knew it, we had a real project on our hands. And early last year, myself and Trent left our jobs and jumped into this full time, and it's kind of been a whirlwind ever since. But now is the most exciting time, I think, getting ready to launch this, the alpha platform, and start bringing real users on. And yeah, for us, choosing to work on EOS was one of the really critical things, I think, that have brought us to this point. It's an awesome community, and we decided to use EOS well before it was even launched, just on the faith of previous projects from Dan Larimer and on the basis of what the technology was promising. And yeah, we would hate to be sort of sitting back trying to peddle an Ethereum dApp or something at the moment. I don't think it would be going as well, and the technology wouldn't be as good as what it is. So for me, that's the combination of things that have brought me here.
Excellent. How about you, Jimmy?
So yeah, I've been in music for 12 years. What a journey. I've been in every single corner you can think of, from creating my own, helping others create theirs, songwriting, TV and film production, and composition, engineering, radio, curating, like a very well-rounded, I guess, perspective on the industry it's given me, which really helped me sort of grow into this role. And I guess Sean and I, well, as Sean mentioned, we've been friends for a long time. And when Sean was in advertising, I actually moved quite close to his office, and we used to bump into each other a lot and have coffees and talk about things, what we were both doing. Sometimes Sean helped me out with some work with a job they were doing for brands and stuff. And we just kind of got chatting. And I'd always had a little bit of a foot in the technology space. Just my father worked for sort of Unisys and IBM in the early computing days. So when I was 5 years old, I'd always have, a computer in the house and was really interested in it all, but not really overly technically, I guess, savvy, but just enough. And Sean and I used to discuss like a lot of the issues that I was encountering through some of the pains in the industry. Obviously a big one being, you don't get paid, you get paid, but there's no real transparency there. And the timing with payment can get really grueling at times, especially when you're trying to rely and self-sustain a career, and not really knowing where that paycheck's coming from. And I suppose the other big issue is trust. I could collaborate with someone over the other side of the world, and my intentions can be as good as they can be, and I can be so excited about the project, but I have no idea a lot of the time who these people are and what they're going to do with the music or the creativity that we cook up together. So when Sean was sort of saying, well, these problems can be solved with smart contracts, and look at the way these ecosystems can push around value, I started getting really interested, and I was like, yeah, I think like music and blockchain and contracts and I suppose the transfer of value, it's just really a match made in heaven. And that's when I started to really encourage Sean with his ideas that stemmed through those conversations. And as Sean said again, well before that, some of the ideas, but just to really encourage him, like, let's do this. Like, the timing's now, it's exciting. So yeah, that's Sean obviously got me into the space just through education, but yeah, music and then into crypto, and yeah, here we are. Really exciting times.
I think the really cool thing is that we've spent the last 12 months trying to convince everyone in Jimmy's music network that this technology is going to change the game, and telling them about what's coming. But now we're just a couple of months away from actually launching it, and even just being able to show people the demo. I think a lot of people's ideas kind of click together when they actually see this, and even people that aren't in music who know about crypto and know about micropayments, when they see an example that's so tangible, they go, oh, okay, now I get it.
Simplifying the language has been key, I think, as this journey of mine has progressed. I think a lot of the times when I was trying to explain things under an educational process of myself, and I was overcomplicating just the way that things needed to be presented because I was trying to internalize it and understand it. But I think now, trial and error, speaking to different people, it's a very simple pitch to musicians to just say, hey, get paid faster and with trust. And they're kind of like, what do you mean? Instead of like, what do you mean?
Yeah, so and that's our perspective, and we've only been in crypto for a couple of years now, but I guess I'd like Ross to share his kind of crypto background and everything as well, because he's a little more OG than what we are, and maybe even yourself, Michael.
Yes, Ross. Many of us know Ross from EOSIO, right, Ross? So, what's your background, Ross? How did you come to EOS? What were you doing before EOSIO?
Okay, so I'm actually a networking and security engineer by profession originally, for about 20 years or so now. I started off with mining Litecoin. I think that was in 2012. Yeah, I was mining it on GPUs in my study, and Litecoin led to mining all sorts of other altcoins. And then I stumbled across this company called Invictus. If you're an OG in Dan Larimer's work,
company, right? Yes.
Yeah, started off with Invictus and ProtoShares, and participated quite a bit in the forums and learned quite a lot about Dan's vision for life, liberty, property, and decentralized exchanges, and how there can be a coin that is more than just a coin, right? They had this concept of angel shares and AirDrops and applications that are going to be built using the same technology. And of course, that became BitShares. So ProtoShares became BitShares. That progressed. It was a little bit of a learning curve for me, understanding how decentralized exchanges work. I never ran a delegate on BitShares. And after that, I moved on to Steemit, which is obviously also Dan Larimer. I actually still run a Steemit witness at the moment.
Wow.
And Steemit then led to EOS. So it started off with EOS. I thought, I did Steemit more like a part-time thing. EOS knew that I knew it was going to take some infrastructure and some professional services and governance to get it going. So I jumped into the deep end. So the beginning of 2018, I actually resigned from my position at a professional services company, and have been working full time on EOS since then. So I co-founded EOSIO. We are an Australian-based block producer. On the EOS mainnet at the moment, we are currently standby block producers. But if anybody follows us on YouTube and Twitter and Medium and Steemit, you'll know that we perform a whole lot of services for the greater EOS community. And this is the real cool bit for me. And my first time meeting Emanate was actually at our Sydney meetup, where I didn't know anything about the music industry at all. I mean, now I'm still learning every single day. I went from knowing nothing to knowing a small percentage. Meeting the Emanate guys and Sean and Trent and I think Jimmy. I think you were there as well. Learning a little bit about some of the issues that are happening in the music space about artists getting fairly compensated and collaboration between studios and artists, and this was all completely new to me. But I realized their vision, and we actually formed a partnership shortly after that. Hey Sean, where
it was about 2 or 3 months before mainnet launched, so it was in a kind of weird time where nobody knew what was going to happen or if there would even be a blockchain at that point.
Yeah. I just knew that one of our functions as a block producer was to stimulate platform growth and adoption of the actual EOS token with people that wanted to deploy dApps, and knew that Emanate was something awesome, that if we could all pull it off, it was going to be something that could really take EOS into the mainstream, or EOSIO into mainstream sort of crypto token platform blockchain adoption. And here we are. Sean then asked me to assist him as interim CTO, which is my current role at the moment at Emanate. I'm definitely come more from the how to best engage EOSIO community and the technology and some of the challenges that we see that on a day-to-day basis as a block producer, as well as all of our participation in other sister chains of EOS, and that kind of conversation is fairly regular between myself and the Emanate team, and I participate in all of the team meetings and technical discussions. And this is where we are today. It's been a fantastic journey so far, and I'm glad that we partnered with Emanate, and now I'm one of the team.
Excellent. So Sean, can you explain us? Emanate, I just read the white paper. It has several components, right? And what brings it all together? How would you describe Emanate?
Yeah, like nowadays, when we're explaining it at a high level, we just talk about it being technology for the future of music. And if you're not into blockchain or you don't know about crypto, then I guess at a high level, that's what it is. We believe that in order for the music industry to progress into the future and to continue to evolve and adapt, it needs to be more connected. Things need to happen in real time. There's all sorts of stuff happening with artificial intelligence and all sorts of new entities entering the music industry. And so on the surface, it's that. And then I think at a network level, or what we call the audio exchange protocol, there's 3 main components that really come together to make it game changing. The first is the collaboration framework. So any artist anywhere in the world being able to share parts of a song, create a new release, to publish it on a platform, and to have those payments come through split by the code rather than trusting a third party to collect payments and send them into the right direction. The second component is the monetization aspect itself. So we call it real-time monetization. At the moment, it's kind of a 6-second payment that we do. If that starts to clog up the network a little bit, we might drop that back. But it's more or less real-time when people are used to getting paid every 6 weeks or 6 months or 6 years. So the real-time payment engine is the second key part. And then I think what will become almost most important over time is the decentralized governance aspect. And I mean, we know that that's going to be a critical part of Emanate, but it's not something that we talk to artists or music industry people a lot about at the moment, because it's almost a little bit too hard to kind of get your head around. We want people to get their head around the collaboration aspect, the real-time monetization, and we'll start educating them around what they can do as a token holder and how eventually those token holders will be in control of what happens long term on the network. So, those are the 3 critical components that make up the protocol, and the interfaces that we're designing and building and the UI that we're releasing for the demo and for the alpha is just kind of one pathway into the audio exchange protocol. What will be really exciting in maturity is seeing how people use the APIs and use it within a software development kit to build their own products and pull their own audio in and create new things using our technology. And that's where we believe that we can scale up to make positive changes throughout all different parts of the music industry, not just through the actual UI and products that we release ourselves.
I think the obvious one too is just the automation of it all. Just getting paid, the splits, just automation. Like, there are so many people sitting around doing administration work, collecting this, trying to find that. Quick example, I think it's relevant, is that I got a TV placement about over a year ago now in the States. And my collaborators, they got paid for theirs. And when I inquired with this company that was administrating my work, they completely lost track of it all and said, "Oh, thank you so much for flagging this. We've lost this." And that's the kind of thing that frustrates, musicians like myself. It goes along all the time. You just have to be in it and experience it once. But, it's saying once, it's all the time. So, yeah.
The statistic that's that's floated around quite a lot at the moment is 12% of record industry revenue going through to the artists, and that's partially because there are a lot of middlemen, and some of those middlemen play an important role. But a big part of it is because of the admin that Jimmy was just talking about. There's so much that has to happen between a piece of music being played and an artist getting paid that's why they only end up with that 12%. And we're pretty much flipping that on its head. So for every dollar that we collect through subscription fees on Emanate, 85 cents will go through to the artists and the rights holders, and the remaining 15% will be paid to those who support the network, including the token holders who are active within the community. So through the automation, there's far less wastage and there's far more revenue going to the people who deserve it.
Now, Sean, there are two tokens, right? I have EMT and MNX, right? So as I understand, one is a stable coin for payment internally, and the other one is what we have that as a token holder, right? The MNX is a token that we will never see. It's only for internal consumption. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, once you've connected an EOS account to your Emanate account, if you're earning MNX, then you will be able to see it in your wallet. But we'll manage it in such a way that all you'll be able to do is actually cash it out. MNX as a term is something we've talked about. We've used that term a fair bit in our documentation for the technical community, but in the interface, it will just be a dollar symbol, and every MNX token is 1 cent. And we keep it internal so that it's not affected by external volatility. And it's just a way of transacting value around the network. You'll be able to cash it out into EMT tokens and then eventually into other currencies. And the EMT token is used for access to the network, governance, staking on the platform so that you can have access to the features that you want. And that's the asset that's a fixed supply that will allow room for growth, and that will become tradable between parties as well. So we worked out pretty early on that two token economics was something that really was necessary on a platform like this, because otherwise we're going to have a lot of the kind of 10K pizza, 10,000 Bitcoin pizza problems, and we can't have artists earning $1,000 1 week for their plays and then waking up the next morning and they're only being $500, or just because there's been a market crash. So we're protecting artists from that sort of thing and providing a consistent experience day to day.
Yes, that's a good way to think about it. Stable coins are necessary part.
Definitely.
Now, coming to this staking model, what was the motivation for that, Sean? Is because the people I speak with, there are many projects. With gambling apps, it's fairly straightforward, right? You stake something, you get rewards from whatever profits they're making. But with the other dApps, like the Karma, the Horus, and there are so many other dApps there, and almost all of them have some type of staking, and many have different reasons. But one of the main reasons I gather is one way to think about it is when you ask someone to stake the token to the network, you are sort of ensuring their loyalty to the project, and you're also taking that much part of the token away from the circulation, so it sort of stabilizes the price. And that was one of the things that came up again and again. But then on top of that, there are other things like governance, voting, and other factors there. In your case, I think that was interesting that by staking, you can get audio subscription for, is it for a year or 6 months? You can get to listen to the tracks, right, by staking?
Yeah, so as an initial incentive for listeners, we'll enable them to listen to music on the platform for all of 2019 by staking 200 EMT. And we'll talk about how they'll be able to get that through the AirDrop stack airdrop. Yeah, for the Emanate network as a whole, the staking mechanism, the most important aspect of it is, you called it loyalty. We sort of refer to it as aligning incentives. So by asking people to stake an amount of EMT on the platform, it will prevent bad actors from coming in, and will prevent people from sabotaging the network. It doesn't really make much sense to behave badly within a network when you're actually holding some of those assets. Your reputation's on the line. You're kind of just treading on your own toes if you do that. So there's the obvious benefits of token economics and the fact that it will restrict the supply that's actually going out on the market when people are staking. And it's also quite a good way for us to be able to manage the scaling up of the platform as well, and to be able to bring on more and more artists, more and more listeners, and over time the amount that you need to stake can be made smaller if we need to make more room for more people to come on. So it's like a safety deposit. It plays a lot of different roles, and obviously the governance aspect is important as well. So I think you've touched on them all. It's interesting because we're not running our own blockchain, that sort of staking is it's not a technical necessity. It's more of a market dynamics and economics necessity.
Excellent. Sean, are you ready to show us something? I think it will be a nice break to see something in action. Yeah,
for sure. So, I mean, the demo that we've been showing people has been around for a while, but we've only just recently actually released it to the community to play with, and it looks pretty similar to what it was almost 6 months ago. But behind the scenes, so much has changed. So what we have now is really the crux of our payment and smart collaboration engine. I've clicked share here, so hopefully it's kind of on the way.
No, we are not seeing your screen yet, Sean. Let's see.
It says that it's sharing. I'm not sure if you need to flick something on the broadcast.
Yeah, I think Michael needs to, or Aaron needs to drop one person and bring them back. Okay. Or drop me quickly. Yeah. You said that so easily. I would have appreciated some consideration before you just said it.
Get rid of him. All right, so sorry, Ross. Okay. I'll just click share again to make sure we can get it working.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. There it is.
Cool. Yeah, so on the demo here, we've got about 10 or 12 of our Emanate official artists with a track each. So these are, they're all great tracks. They're all artists that we're working with ongoing to bring onto the platform. We've got a streaming server set up, and so the music's playing nice and quickly. And then as we click play on a track, in the block console down the bottom, we can see the payments going through. I'll turn that down a bit at this end so you can still hear me. The block console down the bottom shows what's happening on the blockchain. So I've clicked play on this Goldilocks track, and it says that she's being paid for 6 seconds of playtime as that music comes through. And that one is a remix. So it says Goldilocks and 5alarm are sharing the revenue from that play. So that's an example of a smart collaboration in action, as well as the real-time payments. And I'll just turn that right down. So as we launch our alpha network, artists will be able to see those earnings going up in their crypto wallet. and they'll be able to swap the MNX for EMT if they like. And then as the platform matures, we'll introduce different ways for them to cash out. And yeah, really, like, this simple demo is the crux of the payment and smart collaboration engine that will sit behind the scenes in the alpha network. And from there, we're just building out the profile pages, the onboarding process, a lot more music, and starting to introduce the different features and things that listeners will expect, like playlisting and the ability to share tracks and so forth. So you can get to that demo through a number of different EOS wallets at the moment. I think it's in Meet One, it's in Token Pocket, it's available from our dashboard, and I think it's going to be in EOS Links soon as well. It's also posted all over our social accounts and our Telegram and Twitter and everything as well. So we're starting to move our community over to Discord for a bit more structured and in-depth discussion. So we invite anyone to come and join the Discord if they want to chat about the demo and chat about what's coming. Is there anything else you want me to talk through on it, Michael, or any questions that you've got for the community?
Is all these files on IPFS, right, Sean?
These audio files that we're playing at the moment are stored centrally. These aren't on IPFS. We have experimented with IPFS over the last year or so, and we're confident that it's going to be a long-term solution. But at the moment, we're kind of focusing on usability versus hardcore decentralization as an ideology. So we're keeping the file storage centralized for now, but we'll start to move it to IPFS over time. IPFS does play a role in the creation of the collaborations in the backend, but we're not currently showing that in the demo.
Is there any role for these NFTs, the non-fungible tokens, in terms of maybe the pictures of the labels or artists or something like that, or it's not?
Yeah, we think longer term there probably is a role for non-fungible tokens, particularly if an artist wants to do like a limited release download rather than a stream, or it could potentially play a role in live performance. There's a lot of music producers in kind of the underground techno and house music scenes that only release on vinyl because they want to control the number of releases. So we think there's probably a role for non-fungible tokens in that sort of thing. But it's not a focus for our alpha platform. I don't believe we'll have a role for it, but I have been chatting a little bit with the D-Goods guys on Telegram just to sort of start fleshing out some ideas, and it will definitely be something experimental at the least for us, and probably something long-term that may come into play.
I think one of the main things artists are going to get excited about really quickly is just getting those fast payments, if I'm completely honest. The fact, again, that they have to wait so long to get paid at any given time, it's I think if we focus just on that as communication from the beginning, from an artistic point of view, then that's where we'll get the most resonance.
Excellent. Well, Sean, congratulations on receiving your investment from the accelerator in Chicago, Z11K. Now, I just wanted to touch base with you and get your thoughts on what your experience with them has been. As you know, I am one of the co-founders of that as well. But mostly it's Andrew who handles the accelerator incubator part. So how has your experience been, and do you have any suggestions for them to be better, and what are your expectations going forward?
Yeah, I think we're really grateful to have secured that investment and that partnership. The thing that stood out for me the most when I first started talking to Andrew was how much Z11K is embracing the idea of decentralization and trying to move away from the kind of traditional VC model. I guess because, if we go back, say, 18 months ago, there was a lot of VCs that were willing to throw large amounts of money purely into tokens. And then when the market started to dry up, the conversation quickly shifted back to one that was a little bit more of a traditional investment discussion. And instead of talking about decentralized networks that could scale, we started talking about business models and revenue percentage and dividends and that sort of thing. So the thing that really struck me with Andrew and Z11K was that they had the same views on decentralization as us, and could see that the most important thing was to build a network that delivered value to the token holders, and that any sort of equity investments were, really just a bit of security on the side. So that was the thing that sort of struck me the most compared to chatting with other VCs over the last 12 months or so. So yeah, we're excited to get started and continue developing the platform and hopefully bring some more investors in as we move towards launching this alpha platform.
Excellent. Now, I like your website and graphics, and everything is top notch, and it's very, very nicely done. Is it your internal team, Sean and Ross, or is it you contract this for someone else? Who does all the graphics for you?
It's been a bit of a combination. I mean, we're quite lucky to have. I'm quite lucky to have good contacts from my time working for agencies. So, good designers, good writers, good video editors, and I've got a really strong network of creative people that I know, particularly here in Sydney. So we worked with a couple of people to develop our initial branding and everything. And we're now started working with a guy named Raleigh, who designed the interface for Karma and worked on one of the DICE applications as well. And he's working with us on the alpha platform at the moment. And he's a pleasure to work with. And the thing that I just keep finding is, because we're working in such an exciting new area, people just want to get involved. And again, the EOS community just shines because people are so passionate about it. And yeah, I mean, when you go to a great designer with an opportunity to work on something that involves EOS and music, it's pretty easy to get excited about. So yeah, I think we're just kind of lucky to have something that's so tangible and has such great artwork to work with, great music, and there's just a lot of fun to be had.
Another company worth mentioning is that we're shifting focus a little bit to communicate directly to artists a little bit more. And we've picked up sort of towards the end of last year a company called Rising Digital, who are a dance music core foundation-based design agency who we're working with to deliver the artist comms. Yeah, but there's an abundance of talent around in terms of, just designers, musicians, all creatives, really. We've been super lucky. It's really cool.
It's probably also good to mention that in the blockchain space, especially in our time zone, should we say, at least at this point, there's a lot of community work that we kind of work together. There are prominent figures from block producers and other development guys that are just there in the community that all help each other to a degree, right? They don't necessarily have to be in the company or even paid sometimes. It's just, we want to ensure that the EOSIO platform has the success that we expect it's going to be, and whatever we can do to try and help it along. So everybody has a hand in giving each other some assistance.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true.
Excellent. Well, now let's talk about AirDrops. So I think that's the topic we're all waiting for, right? Sean, can you tell us about the EMT AirDrop and what your plans are and when it's going to happen?
Yeah, so on the topic of like AirDrops as a whole, we've experimented with a few things already. We've dropped some tokens out to artists who came and signed up early for Emanate. We invited some of our early followers to come and register and get one. We just did one as part of our deal with Meet One, as part of our partnership, out to the top 5,000 Meet One holders. We're dropping out a claimable token so that the recipients can see the token in their wallet when they receive it. But if they want to keep it, they have to come and claim that from our portal and take the RAM costs on themselves, which is a great way to make sure that we don't have a lot of dead idle tokens just sitting out there in wallets that aren't active. And Emanate has a pretty low token supply, 208 million, compared to some of the others out there. So most of our airdrops have been pretty generous, and we don't want tokens sitting out there idle. So yeah, we've experimented with a few things. The Meet one airdrop is going well, but all of that is really nothing in compared to the scale of what we're doing with AirDrops DAC next month. So we're going to be sending 10 EMT out to over 300,000 EOS accounts, which I'm really excited about, which we wouldn't have the RAM to do ourselves if it wasn't for AirDrops DAC. So yeah, we're really excited about that going out. The 10 EMT that will initially be received is a gift from the Emanate team to the EOS community to claim and to do whatever they want with, but it comes with an invite to come and create an Emanate listener account as a listener on the Alpha platform. And if you create one of those accounts, we're going to send out another 200 EMT, which is enough to have staked on the platform and to give you full access to all of the listening features for 2019. So of the 300,000 accounts that we're dropping to, we want to set up 10,000 listener accounts with that first 200 EMT staked in the balance to open up the listening features. So yeah, we're really excited about getting that out. We're seeing the claimable token that Nathan designed working really well. With Meet one, I think it's about 20% claimed already, and it's going to be a really cool way just to kickstart this community. And launching a music platform for the EOS community to enjoy is a great way for us to get started, because as we start to bring artists and listeners in from outside of EOS, there'll already be a thriving community of wonderful people there getting involved. So yeah, I think it's a little kind of thank you from us to the EOS community. It's an invite to come and use the technology that we've built, that we're really excited about, and it should be a great way to kickstart the Emanate ecosystem, and a really tangible way for all of us that are involved in EOS to be able to show our friends and family what the technology can do in a way that people are familiar with. So yeah, we're really looking forward to getting it into the hands of the community in full force.
Yeah, I love it.
So to recap, all the 300,000 accounts will get 10 EMT as an airdrop. Then they have to come to the portal and register a listening account, and they get another 200 EMT, right? Now, what's required in the account creation, Sean? Do you have to give personal information, or is it just an email? Or
for the account creation, we're going to get a name and an email address, as well as an opt-in, so that we can communicate with you around the network when it launches. And we'll also ask to indicate whether you're an artist that's interested in putting music on the platform as well. So that's all we're going to ask for those 10,000 accounts. And yeah, we're designing a custom experience for that to help educate the audience who aren't as familiar with Emanate, to help educate them around what we're doing and what those tokens will be used for long term as well. And I think, for us, airdrops are an exciting way to sort of seed a project, but we do see them as a mechanism for people to get utility, not just to get a freebie. And by inviting people to turn their 10 EMT into 200 EMT and to use that to listen to music is the perfect way to do so.
Excellent. Now, is this process automated or is it manual? This account creation and distributing another 200 EMT. Is it through a smart contract? Or is it by manual process?
The 200 EMT will be distributed by us, and all of the recipients will need to do in order to claim it is just fill out a couple of fields and do a quick scatter authorization to claim their 10 initial EMT.
Excellent. I'm sure that there will be very nice response. I think this is the first time someone is doing this way, where you had to register an account and you get additional bonus for having taken the trouble to register the account, right? Let's see how the response goes. But I'm very, very optimistic. I think it will be very nice.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
So, Sean, what's the roadmap? So we are now in February of 2019. So the airdrop is going to happen probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks, or maybe by middle of March, I think, right? Now, after that, what do we expect? What's in store for us for the whole year?
Yeah, I mean, we'll release a more detailed 2019 plan soon. Overall, we're more or less on track with our roadmap. We're probably about a month behind. But I mean, that's not too bad considering how difficult last year was from a fundraising perspective. And, you know, we designed that roadmap when things were going really, really well in crypto. So to be a month behind now, we're not too ashamed of that. So we're aiming to launch the Alpha network at the end of April. Tokens will be unlocked when that network launches. And we'll be looking at listing at the same time. From there, we'll continue to do additional releases on the Alpha, and sometime in the coming months after that initial launch, we'll draw the line on those releases and focus on building out the beta platform behind the scenes. And the beta platform will be more towards the end of this year, early 2020. And then from there, we move towards creating what we refer to as like a commercial release software, which for us, you know, it needs to be something that anyone can just download and install in their music studio and start working without knowing anything about private keys or about EOS or blockchain. It's all just under the surface. That'll be something that they pay for a license to use. And by that stage, we should have our API being used by different third parties, and the economy itself should be in full swing. So the roadmap that's on our website is still current, and we'll release some more detailed plans around what's coming this year.
Sean, it's probably worth mentioning how we're going to see the Vampr partnership accelerate artists coming onto the platform.
Yeah, definitely. So the partnership that we formed with Vampr early, or sort of mid last year, was a really kind of critical achievement for the Emanate project, because they've got 500,000 artists there in that community now. Vampr is designed to bring artists together who want to work together, not just artists, but also people that do other types of work in the music industry, like film clips or engineering. So it's already a community of people connecting, and what Emanate offers them is a way to rapidly release their music, earn money in real time, not have to worry about building up any trust first. And so we're starting to work on a pilot program now to bring across the first few Vampr artists who are the most active, or, you know, have the highest quality productions and the biggest following. And from there, yeah, we just plan to make it as seamless as possible to bring those guys across, and to also form new partnerships and bring new artists in. So all of our projections for network growth consider those partnerships and the sorts of numbers that we think we can bring in over the next couple of years.
Excellent. Yes, as I was looking at all those partnerships, and it was great to see that all the familiar names there, and we have such a great list of partnerships, and of course, Vampr stood out there, which has a great name recognition already. It's great that you're bringing people who don't know about EOS into the EOS ecosystem. That's always a great.
Yeah, that's a real win. Yeah.
Excellent. Any thoughts from any final thoughts from anyone? Maybe we'll just go around the room. We'll start with Ross. Ross, tell us your final thoughts. What your predictions are. What do you feel about the prize, and what do you feel about the project?
Okay. I'll tell you. I as far as the market goes, I hope that we have had a glimpse of things to come, and we're going to get back on track, so we can fund all these cool initiatives, and people will start to develop their applications on EOS. I think the community has to take their hats off to the Emanate and how they've demonstrated themselves to be so resilient. I mean, in launching the real root of the business in the middle of a bear market and surviving through it, and now looking like the market's turning, I mean, this should be a massive tick for any kind of a doctor or potential investor that Emanate know what they're doing, right? Fly-by-nights are gone, right? These guys have launched and are building a platform when the market is in the middle of a crypto winter. So, hats off to Emanate as a company. As far as it being music focused, wow, who does not listen to music? It's not like some bespoke service that we're trying to do that, you may or may not help somebody depending on what they do in their world. This is music. Everybody listens to music. The artists that they've got on board already are just a taste of some of the quality that we're going to expect on the platform. So I would say Eminate's absolutely the one to watch as far as real world blockchain technology being adopted.
Excellent. I agree with you 100%. So Sean, any final thoughts?
I think following on from what Ross has said, this is a real opportunity for people that are interested in EOS technology to show others what it can do and to bring new people in. I think in terms of the model, the AirDrop model, and the need for user adoption, I'd like to ask the community not to take any of the AirDrops that they get for granted and look at them as a quick cash grab. Most of the time that the projects that are behind these AirDrops have put a lot of work into building a network for those tokens. And, as Emanate matures, there's not going to be not just ways for artists to earn money, but ways for anybody who's involved in the music community to earn revenue. And that can just be as a person who creates playlists, or as someone who moderates a track that they believe has been created illegally. There's going to be lots of different ways to put your Emanate tokens to work and to essentially earn an income on the platform. And that's one of the things that we really wanted to fix when we looked at platforms like Spotify. The person who pays $14 a month and just all they do is listen to a couple of playlists that are given to them by Spotify, they pay exactly the same as a person next to them who makes new playlists every day and refers people and shares tracks. And those people are giving value back to the community, so they should be rewarded in some way. And Emanate's all about aligning those incentives, rewarding the people that give back. And so you'll find over time that if you give back to the Emanate community as a listener, that you'll be able to offset any fees that you pay for your music. And over time, you'll be able to build your own following and earn revenue, and earn even more revenue if you're staking EMT tokens. So there will be a role for everyone, as well as plenty of passive listening opportunities. So yeah, we just hope that people take the time to look into what the tokens are all about.
Excellent. How about you, Jimmy? Any final thoughts?
Yeah, just look, on terms of price, for me, like, obviously it's a hard thing to ignore, but like, who cares? Like, look what's going on. Look what we're building, it's like, it's just so crystal clear to me, the problems that are getting solved, and I guess what's closer to my heart is just helping, ambitious artists or established artists that have had a rough trot, and, some of these problems that are getting solved, even though it's quite simple in nature, it's huge. And it's exciting for me to be a part of this team, to work on something that I'm so passionate about. I've been that artist for that 12 years, and it's a very selfish career to take the walking path of. Whereas this is like, I'm sitting in the same space, but I'm actually, working towards with the team to try and provide solutions and opportunities to give to other people. So it's a very selfless way that I feel, I don't know, I didn't really expect myself to be taking this career path, but often those things in life that catch you by surprise are some of the best things. So yeah, I just thanks for everyone's support, like Ross, Michael, Andrew, everyone that's here and checked out the project. Like, we're truly grateful, and all we want as a community is to offer more to a community. So.
Michael, you've been in blockchain for a while. What are your final thoughts on where we are right now?
Well, I'm really impressed with you guys at Emanate, because as Ross was saying, this is one of the longest and hardest crypto winters I have seen. I actually came into the crypto scene in a winter, sort of. When I came into the crypto space, Bitcoin was 200, but it had crashed to 200 from $900. So it was bad. This was, I think, 2015, early 2015. But as I came in, the things started moving very fast, and soon we were at 900,000 and on and up to 22,000. You know how it went last year. But this winter has been particularly hard because I had never seen such a harsh winter. So many projects have failed and dead and gone, and they just disappeared. But in the middle of this crypto winter, you created a company, and it has come so far, and it's thriving, and it's a real business, and it's going to be a great venture, and that's what I'm excited about. And that's hard because I think at times like this, only the strongest will survive, and that's just a confirmation that Emanate is a very strong company and a very strong team behind it. And I really appreciate all the work you've done. And I think without some solid work from good people like yourself, EOS would not have come so far. The market is turning, and very soon, the winter will be over, and we'll all be very happy once again. That's my thoughts.
Very good. Thank you, Michael. Thanks for your support.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for. It's finally great to meet all of you, and good luck with the project. Thank you.